Hola amigos, bienvenidos a un programa de El Mundo, uno más. Esta vez vamos a hablar sobre el tema de actualidad.
Hello and welcome to our show, The World, and as always, we are talking about the virus.
Dr. Lightman, gracias por estar con nosotros.
Dr. Lightman, thanks for being with us. The pleasure is mine.
Hemos recibido muchos comentarios sobre clips, videos.
We have received many comments in relation to clips and videos and articles and our materials in regard to what is the reason for the virus. That it is something that comes to us as a humanity, and what do we have to correct? And these are comments that we have received from people that completely agree with what you say. They say that it gives them much hope for the future, but at the very same time, we have received many comments that criticize what you're saying. So I'll read some of them. Some of them say that this is the beginning of the Third World War. It's not nature, but it's something that was created by man. What do you think about this, the virus itself? Well, my opinion is, and I talked about this many times already, that there's no problem here. There are scientists of different kinds and from different countries, from Russia, from the United States, from Arab nations, from China, Jewish scientists, from South America, meaning there are so many scientists here. It is a subject that is so open to everyone that I don't think that, and none of them talks about it being any kind of weapon. Everyone understands that this is something that comes from nature, and there are many more such viruses that exist in nature, and sometimes under certain conditions, nature releases them, and we feel the impact. Some say that this virus was created in a Chinese laboratory. It wasn't nature, but it was man who made it. It is biological warfare, and it was created in order to put humanity into quarantine. I don't know. I know what I understand and what is clear to me, and of course, chemical weapons are being developed, like there was Novichok from Russia, there was this special kind of poison, and other kinds that were used in Vietnam and other places, but I did not read about this in any serious place, and besides, what does it matter? Whether it's released by nature itself, or that it's made artificially. The fact that man causes the appearance of this virus is clear. And so we have to think, what do we have to do in order not to cause, or in order to cause these things not to appear on Earth, in society? And here we have a problem that we're not connected with one another in a good way. We don't feel that we have a common fate, that everyone can influence the others, and doesn't understand that he himself is harmed. I don't see this coming to a swift end, the attack of this virus. I think that it's at least for a few upcoming months, at least 3, 5 or more months. This is something that I said, and according to the results, no one will benefit from this in any way. It's a general, integral blow, and it cannot leave anyone king as a result of the developing of the coronavirus. But this is how it's going to continue. And it's all to the contrary, to show us the way we have to live the way we have to strengthen our connection.
Cuando hablamos de que la humanidad es responsable a donde hemos llegado, los comentarios que surgen es, y se lo voy a
We say that humanity is responsible for what we came to, so one of the comments that we have received says, I don't feel responsible neither for the pollution, for the wars, for hunger in the world, or this virus. I don't feel responsible for any natural catastrophe. Why do you blame us for everything? The climate changes and everything. The rich are to blame, not the simple people. What would you tell a person that this is what he thinks? And we have many such comments. Look, the rich and the poor, the wise and the ordinary, those that live in Europe and those that live in Australia, Oceania, doesn't matter where. All of us today are as one integral humanity. And the entire situation that we're building, we are in one pot. And we're really cooking on one fire. And unless we stop this egoistic influence over each other and stop awakening one another in buying and selling and doing, everyone, if we won't stop doing this, things are going to be really grim. I see in this coronavirus a remedy and not a blow. A remedy. Because it is teaching us how much we, all around the planet, are all interconnected. How much we're covering the entire planet. How it's covering the entire planet, down to the last corner, how we're all interdependent, that if we think well about each other, then the virus wouldn't have jumped, wouldn't have appeared, and only our mutual concern for our connection and creating a new reality actually will bring us to a good result. There are other discernments here. There are those that say that most of the world has nothing to destroy. They simply live their life. The virus, the coronavirus, again, most of the world didn't do anything in order to create this harm. They're simply working hard in order to make ends meet. And the virus is the responsibility of groups, interest groups, and unfunctioning systems. Then why cause the weakest to suffer? That they're always the ones that suffer. Well, those that are weaker, those that are poorer, are always harmed more. There's nothing that you can do about it. And this is our life, the life that we have built for ourselves. The egoistic humanity where everyone thinks only about himself, and by our nature, this is the only way that each of us can relate to himself, that he is most important, and the others, they exist only in order to serve him. This is actually our nature, this one thing. Another thing is that we need to understand that we have to change our own nature. There's no other way. We can't simply continue this way. We have to change our nature in such a way that only mutual concern for one another will cause us mutual responsibility, for us, all of us, to care for each other, and then we will be able to create a general shield against this virus and all problems. I can just say one thing. There are many viruses that can come out of the ground, out of our relations, in a very destructive manner that will eat us and hurt us in a destructive way. And therefore, it's good for us to think about this immediately now, to understand that only the good relationships between us will allow us, give us the ability to deal with this virus, and all those standing behind it in line about to appear into our world. And then only can we have good hope for the future.
Por cierto, estas son preguntas y comentarios que llegan de todo el continente americano y también de España. La pregunta es, ¿qué sucede con...
We have questions from all the entire Spanish-speaking world, from the Latin world, about education. If we educate our children, what experts say is that we want for a child to understand better. So we explain. If you explain to a child, he understands better than if you beat him. So in this case, there are many ways to teach people. Why cause them to suffer, threaten them like this virus does? Why does nature teach through blows? Nature teaches us to the measure of our development, and therefore there's no other choice. We have to understand that only according to our relationships, the better they are, the better nature will treat us. The worse we treat each other egoistically, nature will treat us unfavorably in return. It's a law. And so we have no choice. We have to teach our children, the younger age, the next generation, for them to be altruists, for them to come closer to each other, for them to make sure of how to relate nicely to each other. And if they won't, they'll truly suffer. And this is the law of nature. Just like nature is integral and is in an integral balance between the levels of the still, vegetative, and animate, only the upper layer of nature, which is the humanity, the speaking level, isn't in balance with each other and with everything else and destroys everything. Look what man did to this planet. And therefore, the more we will bring this planet back into balance, that we'll have a good attitude toward the still, vegetative, animate, and toward each other, and that we will use nature in a way that we use it for basic needs and no more, then this way we can continue, and that something good will come as a result. Otherwise, we are doomed. It exactly brings me to my next question that says, and God, as our Father, He went for what? For His children to suffer. God is nature, this integral system that sustains all of us. There's no mind, no heart, no nothing. It's a system. It's like working with a machine. This is how you have to relate to the Creator, not that if you cry, He forgives, you're good, therefore He treats you favorably. He treats you favorably if you do good things because you influence the system in a good way. If you do bad things and you influence the system in a bad way, then the system responds poorly. God, Elokim in Hebrew, in Gematria equals nature. It's the same as nature, so there's no one that forgives us or thinks or something. No. There are absolute laws that exist in nature, including the general force of the integral nature called the Creator.
Terminamos esta primera parte del programa. Muchísimas gracias, Dr. Lightman. Vamos a continuar con una segunda parte.
So this concludes the first part of our show. Thank you very much, Dr. Lightman, and let's continue to the next part, where we'll take more of your comments and questions. Thank you very much.